there's a dress style that you would love to try, but before you even go to put on the dress, the internal dialogue goes crazy, saying things like, you're way too fat for that. You're way too old for this. You cannot wear that because you're short, or you cannot wear that because you're tall, or all of the things. Or you see a woman wearing a style that you would love to wear, and you find yourself thinking, so easy for her because she isn't too fat, old, doesn't mind being seen, has got the personality for it. Sound familiar? I think if you are a woman on this earth, it's gonna sound familiar. And this is one of the things that I realized very early on when I started my business 20 years ago. Working with women and also for myself, I find that we have these internal voices and this internal dialogue that determines what we think we can and cannot wear. And guess what, girlfriend? They're not always true. In fact, they're often not true. So in this video, I am going to share with you my 4 tips that I find useful as a woman who is on camera a lot, both on national television on QVC and right here on YouTube, seeing myself from many different angles, and I promise you those voices come from me, as well as so many of the women that I have styled and designed for in the last 20 years. Now, I am not a psychologist, I don't profess to be one, but I have found these tips have not only worked for me, have worked for my clients, and I'm hoping they can work for you too. Because girlfriend, you deserve to rock a look that you want to wear with confidence. But we sometimes have got to deal with this stuff, right? So, tip number 1 is to acknowledge the voices. So many times I feel like we live in a society where it's all think positive, like focus on the good. And while that is true, and while I am a very positive thinker, I also know that we need to be real with ourselves. And so if there are these internal voices that come, just acknowledge them. Go, okay, this is what's coming up for me. I'm feeling like I'm going to be too fat, too old, all of the twos. That's normally how you recognize them. So first of all, just recognize that they're there and just go, okay, they exist. The second thing, and this is one of the tricks that have helped me the most, because I definitely have moments of this happening. I actually name her. So mine is called Gertrude. And this helps me a lot because it gives me a sense of humor about it. And also I can speak to her. She is what psychologists sometimes call your critical inner child. So for me, Gertrude is my critical inner child. And then start recognizing the times when she pops up more times than not. So for example, I notice that Gertrude comes along when I'm feeling quite tired, when I'm feeling a little more stretched, sometimes when I'm coming down from a high. So let's say I've been on an airing, it's going really well, it's been amazing, I've had great feedback, and then I'm having that down and I rewatch it and oh my goodness, the Gertrudes, they go crazy. And in fact, sometimes they even invite friends and they have a good old party. And I find that just naming her and laughing at her, I even have a picture in my mind of what she looks like. She's like she's a little Tracy, she's a little me, and she just has these temper tantrums inside of my head. So naming her can really deflate that very high energy that these inner voices can take. They can swoop up all the good and just completely deplete you. And so by naming her, I feel like it just makes me laugh. It's like, oh, my Gertrudes are gonna happen. And I kind of know that she's gonna pop around the times that I'm tired, around the times that I'm feeling a little more vulnerable. And so when are the times that you find those Gertrudes come up? There could be times like when you go shopping. It could be maybe when you're on social media and you're comparing yourself to other people who seem like they have the best possible life, or images that are incredibly airbrushed and have a whole bunch of filters, but yet, although you know that, it still kind of does something in here, right? Girlfriend, you know what I'm talking about. And so that also, yes, that comes up for me too, right? So one of the reasons why I don't spend too much time on social media, I cap it on that, because that comparative monster, it actually feeds it and it wants you to stay on, and then you're comparing yourself and the inner voices are just going to go crazy. And then the third thing is to say, okay, so first of all, we've acknowledged the inner voices. We know what they are. We know what they say. We know the dialogue. And it may be different for you. For me, it's things like, oh my goodness, look at you at that angle. Oh, and oh, the double chin, or I'm noticing my eyes are not quite as, this like they used to be, or there's a whole bunch of things that go on in my mind. So know what your dialogue is, and then determine what is real and what is true and what is not. What are the lies that your inner voices are telling you? And these can be things that are very hard to actually see clearly. So I'll give you an example. This is a real life example. I had a client come to me one time. She was a lovely person and she was really struggling with a very dominant, very opinionated mother. And so she had that criticism going in her inner dialogue all the time. So I remember we were discussing colors and what colors she wanted to wear and what colors looked really good on her. And she had just dyed her hair like a reddish color. And so I thought, these colors of green are going to be stunning on her complexion. It's going to lighten her complexion. It's going to make her hair color stand out. It's going to look beautiful. Well, let me tell you, she was absolutely adamant that she couldn't wear green. I mean, like, no, I cannot wear green, which is quite a statement because actually you can wear any color. It's just the shade of color that you need to get. So everybody can wear a green, but you have to find the right shade of green, right? But she was adamant she can't wear green. So as I was discussing this with her, I was saying, okay, so what makes you think that? Because especially you've got this great hair color and it works with your hair color. No, her mother used to tell her when she was younger that she couldn't wear green. So therefore, even as an adult, and I mean, she was like in her 30s, she had this idea in her head that she couldn't wear green, even though her current reality was that it looked amazing on her. But she couldn't get beyond it, see? So it didn't really matter what I said to her. All that mattered was that this was the internal voice, and this was absolutely in her mind her truth. But it wasn't true. This is just the thing. It was not true. And so I think what's really important is to acknowledge that we have these voices inside of our head that tell us all the things. And I think especially those of us who are in our, 40s, 50s, 60s and beyond, when there were more fashion rules for us, I feel like these days almost anything goes. But there often are these things like, oh, you can't wear red with pink. And, oh, women who are short can't wear this. And, oh, if you have big boobs, you can't wear that. I mean, there were all these rules and things that we had to follow, right? So revisit them. Write them down if you need to. Listen, girlfriend, if they're getting in the way of you rocking a confident look that you want to rock and you want to wear it and you want to feel good about yourself, it's worth taking a bit of time to write those things down. So write them down and then really analyze them. And you know what? If you need help, ask a very trusted friend. And ask her. So this friend, this client of mine, she could ask a friend. Now she had hired me, so I could tell her. And it was a process for her, by the way. She didn't wear green straight away. She still believes she can wear green. But I kind of said, well, let's give it a try. And then she decided to give it a try. And although she still felt uncomfortable about it, she was in that process of reprogramming, right? Replacing the lie with the truth. I cannot wear green. Absolutely categorically. I look great in green. So ask a friend. Put something green on if that's your thing. Or put on something, but a trusted friend, somebody you feel really safe with. Does this suit me? Does this look good on me? And let me say to you, girlfriend, no woman, and I mean no woman, can wear everything and anything and look fabulous. You can wear anything and everything. You absolutely can. I'm a great believer in that. But does it look fabulous? That's another thing. So I feel like it's about determining what are the things that are lies that we've believed, that we've just gotten so used to hearing that we take them for the truth. And then what is the actual truth? And start to determine that. Also, our bodies change as we get older. Our skin tone changes, our hair color changes. So sometimes the things that we were absolutely dead set against are going to work really well now. And some things that we thought absolutely going to work for us don't work anymore. And so I think it's really important for us to revisit this internal dialogue, to be aware of it and where it's at for us. I am finding, so I'm on QVC again, and I'm definitely finding I'm having to watch my internal dialogue, because I do have to watch my replays, because I need to see where can I do better? How can I better represent the brand? Where did I miss maybe a cue that the host was giving me? How can I dress in a way that really makes sure that it represents the brand in a positive and good way, but still represents who I am? Does it work both ways? Do outfits that look good in the mirror when I'm at home look great on camera? Different things, two different things. So I'm having to really be kind to myself in that. And I'll be honest and tell you, like, there was a dress that I wore on set, and I thought that everything that I was wearing on underneath it was fine and that it wouldn't show too much. And when I saw in the replay, I noticed that what I was wearing on underneath looked a little too close to my skin color. And it probably wasn't the best choice, because it had these like little slip things, and I thought it wasn't showing anything, and it showed a little too much leg than I would have liked if I had realized that, right? So then the Gertrudes go crazy and they start on this internal dialogue. So it's okay to get things wrong. It's okay to say, oh, hey, that didn't work. Let me try something else. You know, you're not going to die, right? And so unless you're also on national television and you need to be critical about yourself, try things and let yourself play. And when those internal voices come up, which they're going to, acknowledge them, give them a name, give her a name, girlfriends. It really does help. Number 3, determine what is truth and what is a lie. Then the lies you need to replace with truth. You can't just say, oh, I'm not going to buy into that anymore and move on, because you've already created those pathways in your brain. That's what it's going to think. And your brain thinks it's truth even though it isn't. So when it comes up, so like, let's say your internal dialogue says, oh, I'm too fat to wear that, right? Typical one, don't we? Or like, oh, that dress makes my stomach look bigger. And actually it doesn't. It's just that you're looking down at your tummy like this, and no one's actually noticing your tummy, because you've checked and you've asked a friend, or you've spoken to somebody, you know, you've really looked at it critically. So then you can say, thanks so much for sharing. This is what I do, okay, seriously. So when Gertrude comes and she starts like in my head, thanks so much for sharing. Go to your room and play. Seriously. I send her off to her room so that she can play by herself without me. And so I'm acknowledging it. And what I do then is it's okay. Actually, that isn't true. What is true for me is, this is the look I really love. This is the look that makes me feel confident. And even if you don't feel it just quite yet, it's okay. And speak in the positive. Does that make sense? So you can't just go, oh yeah, that's not true, and then just move on with your day. You actually have to replace it with something that you want. And the thing is, girls, that we are in a stage of our lives as women over 40, 50, 60 and beyond that few generations have had, right? Like, I actually went to a talk the other night, and the scientist was talking about aging and ageism. And she was saying, for the first time ever, we have created this extra era of our life with modern science, with healthcare, with all of that kind of thing. But we haven't created the social constructs to help us live this life fully. This extra section. The life expectancy of Americans used to be 47, I think, or 48, she said. Quite amazing. Now we're just getting started at that age. So we have like this whole other part of us to live, but we have to choose to live it. We can choose to live it and embrace it. We don't have to just take the internal stuff that's been said. And listen, there's a lot of fear around stuff. There's a lot of shame around aging in our society, but we don't have to buy into it. And so this helps me a lot. And then the fourth one, this is the final one that I'm going to tell you. Feel the fear and wear it anyway. Okay? So this is the thing. It's just clothes, girlfriend. It's not your life. It's not the end of the world. Now, if you are trying some new things and you're not quite sure they're beyond your comfort zone, like quite a bit beyond your comfort zone, but you really want to try them, don't go and invest in pieces like that just yet. Maybe go to a thrift store, buy something in that kind of style in a way that can work for you. All right? And you can try it out without breaking the bank. But when you're ready, then invest and buy the things. Fill your wardrobe only with the things that you love. Only with the things that you love. And always step outside your comfort zone. I mean, so at QVC now, with this brand that I'm representing, I represent Patricia Nash handbags. They're beautiful, by the way. If you have not looked them up, look them up. Unbelievable. This is not a paid ad. I'm not paid to do this. I'm paid to do it on QVC, but not here, right? But her bags are beautiful. They're all different colors of leather. They're amazing. They also have prints. And so I have to wear solid colors. Girlfriend, if you know me, I am a print girl. Like, everything in my closet has print, except for my jeans and like leather pants. And even those, I have some of those that are printed. I love prints. I don't love solid colors because they show all the like panty lines and bra lines, and if I'm bloated in my tummy, but I have to wear solid colors. So it's pushing me. It's pushing me to find solids that I like, in styles that I like, in fabrics that are working. That's also pushing me as a designer to find ways of bringing for you solid dresses and pieces that you may love, because maybe you also you're not crazy about wearing prints and you want to wear solids, but you also don't want to have to wear Spanx on underneath so that you don't show the lines. So you see what I'm saying? It's like it stretches. This is a good thing. We can we can acknowledge our fears and decide to wear it anyway. And if you don't get it right, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. It's just clothing. But I do think that it's more about how we feel about ourselves, and confidence is a muscle. Confidence is something we have to keep growing. Confidence is like, oh, I'm feeling uncomfortable, but now I need to jump in. And that's what, like, I am doing that all the time. Just as I'm pushing you, I push myself, and it encourages me to then push you, for you to push others, not beyond what they are really, really comfortable with, but to challenge each other, to help us to grow, to help us to become more of ourselves as women over 40, 50, 60 and beyond. Because girlfriend, a confident you is a freaking powerful you. Seriously. Like, you can be unstoppable as a woman in your own life, in your community, and with the people around you. when you find that level of confidence. And clothing, it never is really about the clothing. It really is about our own internal stuff and how we choose to show up in the world and how we choose to speak of who we are with the clothes that we wear. So you deserve to look and feel confident. You deserve to rock whatever look you want to wear. And so I hope this helps you and encourages you, inspires you. I know this is quite a different video for me, but it's been very heavy on my heart and I've been wanting to do this video for a while. So let me know in the comments below, what are your thoughts? What are you going to name your critical self? I want to know the names. Let me know the names. They can have a party and get together, and then we'll send them off to their rooms so mommy and mommies can have a glass of wine and go try on the clothes that we really want to wear. Great girlfriends. Till next time. I'll see you soon.